Good evening, Raider baseball fans. I'm Michael Francis alongside the one and only Jonathan Kaspar. And Jonathan, the Rouse Raiders need to bounce back off of two losses last week to the Liberty Hill Panthers. The 8-1 loss on Tuesday night and then a heartbreaking 4-3 loss on Friday night.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, obviously not the start to district play that they would have liked. They handled Leander Lions, no issues, and then we had some kinks in the armor that showed, and obviously some things that need to be worked on. And I know Coach probably addressed those through many long practices.
I'm sure, and some conversations to boot. That they play Saturday and they win 13-0 over the Georgetown Eastview Patriots. So looking to bounce back against this Lehman Lobo team coming in to today's game. So we can go through last week's game scores.
So yeah, week 2 scores. Game 1, as you alluded to, Liberty Hill did take down Rouse 8-1 in game 1, 4-3 in game 2. Here at Raider Field, Cedar Park did win 11-1 and 4-0 over the same Lobos that we will be playing this evening. Leander did win 1-0 against Hayes and then split and lost 3-1 against Hayes. So that was a split in that one. And then the Lockhart did split against Glenn as well, winning 1-0 and then losing 7-1.
So got the Lehman Lobo. I'm tripping over my own tongue. Got the Lehman Lobos in tonight, and we'll go over the district standings.
Yep, district standings does show the Liberty Hill Panthers sitting up at the top, tied with the Hayes Hawks and Cedar Park Timberwolves, all at 3-1. Of course, Liberty Hill Cedar Park did have a split in their series, so they are tied in their head-to-head. The Lehman Lobos at 2-2, along with ourselves, Rouse Raiders, and then Glenn Grizzlies, Lockhart Lions, and Leander Lions all rounding out the district play at 1-3 record.
So we had some changes atop the 25, the top 25 in 5A, and so Rouse falls from number 4 down to number 12, and Liberty Hill goes from, I believe, number 12 up to number 8.
And Cedar Park does climb as well up to the 11th spot.
All right, so Leander or Rouse and Cedar Park just right there close together. So Rouse has some redemption that they have to do off of those two losses to Liberty Hill. But it shows you that Cedar Park is gaining respect in what was to be a rebuilding year for this team.
Correct.
And they are kind of rising up toward the top, playing some of the outside of Liberty Hill. They played Lehman last week, and so we're facing that same team. So we get an opportunity to kind of see how we might match up with Cedar Park, depending on how we do against this team tonight.
Yeah, and then, of course, Leander, Liberty Hill going at it game 1 tonight. So that'll be an interesting one to watch and see how Liberty Hill, can they remain on a high after taking us down in those 2 straight games. I know that's one thing that they were really, really big on and were really trying to accomplish. Obviously not having done that previously last 3 years has always been a split 1-1. Each of us winning at our home field.
All right. But it's a beautiful day for baseball here at Raider Field. The wind blowing out of the north. The sun is shining. If you're in the sunlight, you're relatively warm. But if you're in the shadow, you are feeling nice and chilly.
Yes, and even in here, we're catching a bit of that breeze. What there is right now, I mean, the flags out in center field are really not standing out, but they do have some movement as the wind is still blowing from the north.
Well, we've got the door wide open. I'm sure Don will probably close it for once the game starts, and that'll stop some of that crosswind from blowing through here. But yeah, it's a good evening for baseball.
Yes, sir. And don't forget, everybody, we do have the chat line up, so please reach out to us. Let us know where you're watching in from. If you want to do a shout out to any of the players, either side, we will definitely give a shout out for any of the Lehman Lobos as well as our Rouse Raiders. So we welcome all chat and all newcomers as well. Let us know if it's the first time watching. We'll give you a hey, a thumbs up. Appreciate all the likes, and you can always follow us and get updates when our games are coming by, clicking on that bell to get the notifications. So. We're still getting a later start here.
Yeah, we really are. I haven't seen the umpires yet.
And we're coming up 8 minutes till what should be first pitch. But I guess they're on their time right now. But obviously we got the crew out there taking care of the infield and getting the stripes
they
going.
Striped the batter's boxes better than they did Friday night.
Oh no, was it?
Yeah, they were angled in toward the back. So it was interesting. So, but next year we'll be on a turf field, and we won't have that problem anymore. You won't have to get out there and chalk the lines anymore. They'll be permanently set on the turf, and that is the rumor. So one thing I was going to ask you is I hadn't heard anything about a golf tournament this year. Is the Booster Club intending on doing a golf tournament?
My understanding of that, and Don and I were able to speak, they have not decided to do the fundraiser golf tournament this year. I know there was another possibility that they would put together a cornhole tournament. That still could happen, and definitely anybody that's out there that loves throwing the bags, keep your ears open for that. I will update as best I can for any fundraisers that are coming up. As of right now, though, the golf tournament is not going to be played again as we had the last couple of years.
Well, it's been a success, so I'm just curious as to, was there something that happened that it wasn't as successful last year, or the turnout wasn't as good?
No, we had a great turnout. Actually, we beat the turnout that we did in the inaugural tournament in 2022. 2023 was better. 2024, I think the worry was having enough people to put it together, run it, get the sponsors that they needed, and I don't know that the time was there based off of when the best time of year, which we're getting close to that passing right now. It's always good to do it in March, April at the latest, because obviously the weather's getting a lot better, and golf courses a lot of times would rather put that on when they know they can't fill it due to possible bad weather.
So. Right. Still waiting for the umpires. I don't see any movement out there outside of the back gate. It's out of the camera shot, so you can't really see it. And, well, I see a fellow Austin Energy employee down there. I got my Austin Energy. So that's kind of cool.
Very distinct logo, the Austin Energy logo.
Yep, it's right there.
His was orange, though.
Right, yeah.
The orange and yellow one.
I opted to go with a little different contrasted look because you don't see that often, right? With
I do like that black and white, yes, sir.
Black and white, and then
it's a very nice jacket too.
Yeah,
better not leave that around. I mean, steal that.
So they're good to us. They're good to us.
Coach putting his eye on the guy as they're getting ready to lay down the lines for the batter's box, and Xander is making sure his area, his office, is nice and clean prior to the start of the game here. His office obviously being that square behind home plate.
Right. So interesting thing about Saturday, and I don't know if you caught this, Jonathan, Cedar Park, and sometimes you can't really make a whole lot about scrimmage games, right? Cedar Park defeated Lake Travis in a scrimmage on Saturday. And Lake Travis doing well in their own district.
Yes. Now, of course, the other side of it is it's a non-district game, right? But it does still go towards standings. I mean, that's something that they're going to look at. That's great for them. And again, like as you mentioned earlier, is what was thought to possibly be a rebuilding year. They are really doing very well. Again, the split to Liberty Hill in their first series of the year, and then turning around and going in and playing against Lehman and winning both of those. So they're only have that one loss.
So here's something interesting that that I was saying. I don't know a lot about Legacy Ranch that is going in Liberty Hill. So that'll be the newest high school that is opening in Liberty Hill. And I'm not sure how that split worked in allowing Liberty Hill to stay in the D2, 5A D2 classification and not moving up into the D1 football classification. And there was a possibility that they might have gone into 6A with current enrollments. But I did notice on social media that they were posting their football schedule for the year, and so they had some interesting ones on there. I'm not sure they're probably not playing full varsity over there. Do you know how they open over there, Kathleen? Yeah, because I'm thinking that maybe they opened with freshmen and sophomores over there, and a lot of high schools around this area typically open like that. They don't open as a full senior high school. Rouse and Vista Ridge opened with freshman class, an alpha class, and Tom Glenn and Matthew Vandergriff, opened as freshmen and sophomores in LISD. So Liberty Hill may be doing the same thing with that. And
I did just do a quick check, and it does show that with the school district's board of trustees having approved the opening in August of 2024 with freshmen.
With freshmen
at
only?
the site of the district's third high school. So, it says middle
district's
school site.
Second high school.
Yeah, second high school, and second high school is going to be Legacy Ranch, and it's going to open 2 years earlier than originally scheduled.
Well, the other thing is what growth in Leander is happening, and what it looks like is high school number 7 will eventually come up for bond before too long, I'm sure, and that school will go in, my understanding, is up on Ronald Reagan, just short of Highway 29, and that will be high school number 7 in this district. And so right. So it'll be interesting. It could possibly affect Rouse. Probably not that much because it'll probably be based somewhat on geography, right? And so that'll be a battle between Legacy Ranch and Leander ISD. So my guesstimation, which is not necessarily correct at most times, especially when it comes to realignment. Every time I think it's going one direction, the UIL goes another. So
yeah, and again, I know we've talked about this many times previous. Is
hey, we got umpires.
We always played the same teams growing up. Whatever you played in one sport, you played in all of the sports, and it's obviously not the case anymore, where football has a completely different district than baseball.
Right, yeah. So
interesting.
Baseball follows along with basketball and volleyball, and football has its own. So they moved up into the D1 classification, or Rouse did this year, and so they're facing some new teams, and moving into Region 3, which baseball and basketball wise, we're still in Region 4. So when they go to the playoffs, they'll be facing schools up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yes.
And we'll be facing schools in the Houston area.
Right.
Right. Houston and the Valley and all of that.
Always real interesting to see how the bean counters put their heads together and come up with what is going to work best from sport to sport. And obviously I know there's a lot of people involved with making those decisions. It's not just one single group. I'm sure the coaches are polled. The district heads of the district are polled, and they all get together and come up with what they feel is the best plan. Well, and that does cycle every few years.
Right.
As everything keeps growing.
So game 2 of this series will be at Lehman on Thursday night. That'll be a 7 o'clock game start. There won't be a Friday night game due to Good Friday.
Yes, and it will be Thursday at the Lobos Field in Kyle. So, having played there last year.
So Easter weekend coming up. It's going to be a busy weekend. I know we're going to have a lot of family in, and they'll be going to church with us on Sunday, and then they're going to come over to our house and hunt for Easter eggs and all that stuff. So
we have our Easter egg hunt at Grandma Thompson's on Saturday, as is the annual plan, and got to go find my egg. Everybody has an egg.
All right.
With their name on it.
Oh, do they?
So,
that's a cool tradition.
Sure, and the aunts absolutely have a blast hiding them from us older kids.
Right, I'll bet. Yeah. Well, I haven't hunted myself in years and years and years, but the thing that we'd have a prize egg, and they would put money in that prize egg, and so whoever found it got a few dollars in their pocket.
There you go.
So that was one of the traditions that we did. So for me, it means now that it's going to be at our house. It means I've got a lot of work ahead of me.
And a few days to do it, right?
Right.
But you're off Friday.
Oh, no, I'm not.
No.
The city does not recognize Good Friday as a holiday.
Oh,
so, but I did have a coworker that thought we were off on Friday, and I had to send her the list of city holidays.
Days. Yeah, we actually get Friday off in my business, which is interesting enough in the retail side.
I broke her heart by doing that, but she loves me anyway.
Or so she tells you to.
Yeah, you know, she sent me a heart thing when I sent it to her on Teams. So,
all right, box is good to go, and I love the spacing. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks better in line this time.
Square. Well, you saw we had a couple of guys on the mound directing them on making sure that they had it all square. So,
trying to think, where were we at last year, where the
mound was completely cockeyed to the
right. Where were we at?
It was shifted towards third base. That mound was, and I do remember that, and I can't tell you where we were. I do not recall that, but that was very interesting.
Was it Lockhart possibly? That it was off like that?
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out
later on this season. So,
well, the umpires are here. The coaches, they're waiting for Coach Crimp to get to the.
Here he comes. I think he was changing
the home plate,
putting his long sleeve on there.
For the coaches meeting, so it's going to be cool. But anyways, I think we can finally kind of get pseudo started here. So the visiting Kyle Lehman Lobos are coming into tonight 11-8 on the season. They're 2-2 in district. They're coached by Jacob Causey. He's in his fourth year with 55 career wins. He's assisted by Adam Frasiel, Toby Robinson, and Frody Anderson. Their 2023 record was 19-9. They finished 6-8 in district, and they have 6 returning starters. Your Rouse Raiders come into tonight 15-5-1. They're 2-2 in district play. They're coached by Chad Crimpine. He's in his 23rd year with 496 career wins. He's assisted by Manny Perez, Dan LaPaglia, and Will Noble. Their 2023 record was 30-12-1, 9-5 in district, and got into the playoffs as the 4th seed in the district. And all that kind of culminated towards the last couple of weeks of the season. They had some key losses on the front end that really hit them, and then Cedar Park ended up doing what they do with Rouse. And
always seems to work that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it always seems to work that way. And we ended up dropping that last game that put us into the 4th seed coming out of District 25 5A and facing the 1st seed out of District 26 5A and the new Braunfels Canyon, right? For the 3rd time in the last 4 years.
Correct. And it went to the third game again, as it had the previous 2 years in 21 and 22. Did go to the third game, and obviously we were able to handle them in that. The how do we put it? It was the third game of the third series.
Mm-hmm.
So to decide it.
Right, and it came down. That's what it came down to in 2021 when Rouse made their state run. It went to 3 games against New Braunfels Canyon, and the same scenario where Rouse came out as the 4th seed out of that district at the time, and I think it was 19-5A.
Correct.
Back then. I'd have to go check my paperwork, but I believe we were out of District 19-5A, and facing the Braunfels Canyons, where we lost. We won the first game here, lost the second game there, and then won the third game there.
That was last year.
That was
and
the
2021.
2021.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Kid Hill handled business here. And then we lost game 2 with Blake, actually, Gonzalez going in that game. And then a lot of the sophomores getting out on the field and getting some playing time. And then Norris handled his business on the game 3. But it was the rubber match to the rubber match.
Right.
Is what it was. That's what we were saying last year.
And it pained the coaches because when you and I talked to them last year in the press box, they said, we hate drawing y'all because y'all are not a 4th seed team.
Correct.
So y'all are just... It's just unfortunate, but we always end up getting on it. We don't like it. The lineup for the visiting Lobos tonight, leading off will be number 5, Nate Perez, the catcher. He will be followed by number 3, Andrew Cruz, the shortstop. Number 16, Peter Cienega, the first baseman, will be batting third. Number 13, Aiden Sanchez, will be the starting pitcher and the DH for the Lobos. Batting 5th will be number 1, Trey Allen, in center field. Batting 6th will be number 8, Kyle Kaufman at third base. Batting 7th will be number 10, Xavier Mendoza at second base. And batting 8th will be number 23, Nico Garcia in left field. And batting 9th will be number 2, Francisco Delgadillo in right field. For your Rouse Raiders, leading off will be number 9, Rainer Heinrich at second base. Batting second will be number 7, Jacob Solis at short. Batting third will be number 8, Oscar Salazar at first base. Batting fourth will be number 10, Landon Miller in center field. Batting fifth will be number 27, Connor Thompson in right field. Batting sixth will be the third baseman, number 22, Nathan Miller. The designated hitter tonight will be number 11, Andrew Sanchez. For the starting pitcher, number 6, Galvin Silva. Batting eighth will be number 14, Xander Forcell behind the plate. And rounding out the order will be number 4, Dawson Snow in left field. We're going to take a moment for the national anthem. We want to thank you for tuning in and watching Rouse Raider Baseball on SHN Sports. We'll be right back in just a moment. It's baseball time in Texas as we're set to get underway here at Raider Field. Good evening, everyone. I'm Michael Francis alongside the one and only Mr. Jonathan Kaspar. We have a full booth tonight. Don Miller on the PA and Kathleen Forsell on the scoreboard. So we have our full crew going in the press box.
Yeah, and somebody messed up and broke our first opportunity to have all four of us in the press box with our new jerseys.
I dare say his initials may be JK.
I don't know who that guy is, I'm telling you.
Due up for the Lobos in the first, Nate Perez, Andrew Cruz, and Peter Cienega. Defensively for your Rouse Raiders, on the mound, number 6, Gavin Silva. Behind the plate, number 14, Xander Forsell. At first base, number 8, Oscar Salazar. At second base, number 9, Rainer Heinrich. At third base, number 22, Nathan Miller. At short, number 7, Jacob Solis. In left, number 4, Dawson Snow. In center, number 10, Landon Miller. And in right field, number 27, Connor Thompson. Gavin getting his warm-ups in.
Yeah, and again, we saw a different Gavin Silva in the Liberty Hill Game 1 of district last week. Unfortunately, not the Gavin Silva that worked for the 3 starts prior to that, having only given up 1 hit, as he just ran into a bit of a issue with walks, as it were, there in the 3rd inning, and that was the sort of unraveling of the Rouse Raiders in that first game. See if he can bounce back from that.
Nate Perez will make his way to the plate. Christina Diaz checking in. Let's go Raiders. Hello, Christina. Glad to have you with us tonight.
Hi, Mama Diaz.
Silva winds and deals a fastball in the dirt for ball 1. So, there'll be a little bit of jitters getting started, coming off of a rocky start. Well, he didn't really have a rocky start.
No, the start
he had a rocky 3rd inning, right? He went through the first 2 innings doing really well at Liberty Hill. The first or second pitch, that one just misses low. It looked like he was about to call a strike, but laid off. 2-0 the count. Silva winds and deals. The 2-0 is cut on and missed for strike 1.
And there was the fastball, which he had relied a lot on the breaking pitch in his last start.
A curveball, that's in there for a strike 2. So it was good to see Lou and Christina, and come to find out, Momo let me know this on Friday night, that a breaking ball that goes to the backstop for ball 3, that there is another Diaz in the dugout, and Lou and Christina's daughter Lily is one of the managers on the team. The payoff pitch, that's cut on and hit foul. So, sister of Colby Diaz.
It'll be awesome to see her bring some of that Diaz magic to the field.
The payoff pitch, that's cut on and hit foul down the third base line. Is a slow roller with some backspin on it. Look at Andrew Cruz over there helping out his on-deck fielding percentage.
As we all know, Colby has extended his career and on the diamond at Texas State.
And again, the payoff pitch. This is hit into left field. That'll be a leadoff single for Perez.
Yeah, fought that one off. Again, breaking pitch that stayed on the inside, and he was able to get just enough that and sort of dribbled it right in the perfect spot there between third and short, with nobody able to really make any kind of attempt to even make a play on that ball. So see if they can't get a ground ball here and turn a double play.
Silva will deal. This is a high-flying bunt that will get to the backstop and go foul for strike 1. Perez had a huge lead over at first.
Yeah, he did. He took off, stopped, still made a jump, drawing zero attention from Gavin. He was focused on the batter at that point. And
0-1 the count. A breaking ball. This one is hit foul and bounces back in the dugout, or not dugout, but the batter's box. for strike 2.
Backspin. He had a lot of juju on that ball.
I would say he's probably going to swing away now, but I have seen times when coaches seriously want you to lay down a bunt and will have you bunt again on a third strike. It's not often, but I have seen it done. That pitch inside for ball 1.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, nothing it could upset a coach more than not getting a bunt laid down, knowing how many times they work on that.
Peter Cienega on deck for the Lobos. Perez, again, gets a huge lead. And that will be a backdoor strike looking for Andrew Cruz for out number 1. That will bring up Peter Cienega. Cienega, the first baseman for the Lobos.
Another lefty.
Well, we saw our share of lefties at Liberty Hill. My goodness, at least 50% of their batting order was, well, I guess at 9 you don't get 50%. Throw over to first will not be in time. Perez back in.
Do you think it was on the plus side of 50%?
So Perez is their catcher, but he's also fast too. They're leaving him in there. Usually they'll bring a courtesy runner in, but his speed is saying he's going to stay, and he is caught in no man's land. And so there's the pickle going, and they're working back and forth, and Silva will apply the tag, and that will be it. So that will be a 1-3-6-1 pickoff.
And I'll tell you what, one thing that is already noticeable is the execution there of the pickle, and basically a busted attempt at a steal as he got caught.
Cienega sends this one out towards center. Landon Miller tracks it. He'll make the catch, and that will do it for the Lobos in the first. They, in a roundabout way, they go in order in the first. So after 1/2, we're scoreless here at Raider Field.
Yeah, and same scenario, game 2 against Liberty Hill here at our field. Oscar had already been switched out of pitching because he was the starting pitcher and was over in first. And next player that was on, a runner, got caught exact fashion as the Lehman runner here, where he had to stop knowing he wasn't going to be able to break. Gavin pulled off and was able to make the throw to Oscar and get him caught. And the runner advanced to second without a throw from Oscar. So, he immediately made the run, shortened the gap, which is what you love to see.
Mm-hmm.
Always shorten the gap. If at all possible, run him back to where he came from. Do not allow him to advance in case of a bad throw or something along those lines. You always want him starting out or ending up where he started,
right,
base-wise. So great job there of execution.
Defensively for the Lobos, on the mound, number 13, Aiden Sanchez. Behind the plate, number 5, Nate Perez. At first base, number 16, Peter Cienega. At second base, Xavier Mendoza. At third base, number 8, Kyle Kaufman. At short, number 3, Andrew Cruz. In left, number 23, Nico Garcia. In center, number 1, Trey Allen. And in right, number 2, Francesco Delgadillo. Xander Forcell got his gear on still. Due up for your Raiders in the first, Rainer Heinrich, Jacob Solis, and Oscar Salazar. So definitely a big change right there. Solis has been batting 7th and 8th in the order most of the season so far, and has moved up into that number 2 slot where Landon Miller typically sits. We want to thank you for tuning in and watching Rouse Raider Baseball here on SHN Sports. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you would like to follow Rouse Raider Baseball throughout the season. You'll be notified when we go live. Give a shout out for your favorite player. If you are a Lehman fan listening in, give a shout out for your team and your favorite player, and we'll broadcast that out as well. We welcome you to the broadcast.
Yeah. Coach, trying to trade a few change a few things up here. We're going to actually see, obviously, Rayner in his
typical leadoff
spot, but followed by Jacob Solis. So hopefully be able to see.
Rainer Heinrich stands in for the first time tonight as he will be facing the left-handed throwing Aiden Sanchez. Perez gives the sign, and Rainer calls time. He'll step out.
Yeah, very lengthy wait there from Sanchez on the sign.
So Lee's on deck. Sanchez pitching from the stretch, and the breaking ball gets the top of the zone for strike one.
Yeah, and immediately you hear, now you know that that is going to be a strike call high up in the zone. It's always interesting to see how the umps are going to, what their strike zone was going to look like.
Yeah, one pitch. That's down the middle for a strike. 0-2 the count to Heinrich.
Yeah, and immediately an 0-2 count and an 0-2 approach from Rayner as he scoots up in the box, and
he'll lay off for ball one. He checks his swing. But it did look big and meaty there for a minute.
It did, and just broke away and got a little low, a little outside. So definitely a good layoff there from Nerner.
1-2 pitch. That's high and outside for ball two, and that will even things up.
Love to see him get on and start the Raiders offense off early.
The 2-2 pitch. He checks his swing for ball three as that was way up out of the zone. Payoff pitch coming up. Perez gives the sign. Sanchez comes set. The 3-2. That's high for ball four, and Little Nerner will draw a leadoff walk.
Yeah, and the exchange of leadoff batters being on for both the Lehman Lobos and your Rouse Raiders.
Jacob Solis makes his way to the plate. Oscar Salazar on deck. One on with no outs here in the top of the first, or the bottom of the first, rather. With the lefty on the mound, your lead's probably not going to be as far as it normally would be.
Yeah, that, and you'll see a lot of this where they bait the runner into thinking that they're not going to throw hard over there as he just lobs the ball over to have Rayner retreat.
Solis lays down a bunt, but it goes foul, and actually he didn't lay it down. It was more like a fly.
Fly it down. It did get down.
Fly it down, but it was. And if Kaufman would have been playing more shallow, he might have actually had a chance to catch that.
Well, actually, I think he charged it, seeing that it was bunting, and it actually got past him there in the foul territory. So did what he was supposed to do in charging, but unfortunately that worked against him there.
The 0-1, check swing, and he gets rung up. Said he didn't hold his swing up, but I thought he held his swing up, but it was a strike pitch.
Correct. Yeah, it definitely was one to, but only offering one time at the bunt.
Solis calls time, and
looking to get a call from Coach on how he wants them to approach this at bat. And
0-2 the count. The 0-2 pitch is check swing and a foul. At least he got a piece of it.
He did, yeah. Stays alive there.
Yeah, Oscar Salazar helping his on-deck fielding percentage.
He's doing a very good job of that this year, is Oscar Salazar.
The 0-2, that hits him on the shoulder. And 2 aboard.
And even more effective than a sacrifice bunt is the hit by pitch. So now no out exchanged for the runner at second, and now we have 2 on. So that's a great situation here for
Oscar Salazar. And Salazar, of course, if he's hit, if he hits like he did on Saturday, he hit 2 huge doubles on Saturday. And he will show bunt. He lays it down the first base side, and there's nobody covering, and Salazar is going to pick up an infield hit on the bunt. The second baseman was slow to cover.
And that's partially due to the great execution of the bunt. That was a strong bunt, sort of a slap bunt versus just, there's multiple ways to obviously lay a bunt. And it's all dependent upon where your runners are. You want to either get your guy to third by pulling the third baseman in and hitting it, or as Oscar did, he hit it hard enough that it actually passed the pitcher, and that required the first baseman to cover. And the second baseman, not realizing that fast enough, wasn't able to get over there to first.
Bases loaded with Raiders for Landon Miller. Landon Miller, another power hitter for the Raiders. And he will foul tip this one into the glove for strike one.
Yeah, so very,
Connor
very
Thompson
big.
on deck.
Small ball. Great small ball.
Sanchez comes set. The 0-1 pitch, and that is lifted high and deep to left and goes foul about 6 feet for strike two.
Just beyond the reach of left fielder.
Veronica Arnold letting us know that the picture is frozen.
Not again.
I didn't have any problems with it on Saturday. So we'll adjust it here at the bottom of the inning.
Yeah, staying alive.
That one fouled off. And he will get another opportunity.
Yes, Veronica, that is our feed, unfortunately. That is frozen.
The 0-2. This is hit fair down the third base line. This is going to score Heinrich. Solis will round third, and he will score a 2 RBI double for Landon Miller.
Yeah, great job of hitting there for Landon Miller, being down 0-2 in the count and just taking that inside pitch and able to run it up the line, and with the tail on it, got it over almost to the corner, allowing Oscar to actually make it all the way from first to third.
Perez gives the sign. Landon Miller or Nathan Miller on deck. Sanchez comes set. The first pitch to Thompson. That gets the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, Connor's another one would love to see him get his bat going, just like with Andrew Sanchez, who we'll see here in a little bit.
The 0-1 delivery. That's inside. That almost gets him for ball one. That'll even the count up at 1.
Yeah, Connor early in the year throughout the tournament play was swinging a really hot bat, and has not seen so much here in district play.
1-1. That is swung on and missed for strike two. The 1-2 pitch, that's fouled off.
Staying alive.
He will stay alive.
He ruined a really good pitch. I mean, that was the same kind of pitch that was called strike one against him there on the outer half of the plate, and was able to get just a piece of it.
And Thompson will call time and step out.
Once again, that's the third time we've seen that already from the Raider hitters.
1-2. That's a little check, swing, and foul.
Yeah, and again, good that he was able to foul on the check swing, as that was a strike, or would have been a strike had he been able to check his swing. So It's a little undecided here from Connor Thompson.
1-2 the count. And a pitch. That misses down and away for ball 2, and that will leaving it up. No outs. And he will check swing and foul this one away again. And the count will remain even at 2.
Rouse Raiders in their pins.
The 2-2 pitch. This is fouled off again. At any rate, you can call this a quality at bat now.
Constantly fighting off the good pitches. Great hitters will find a way.
Thompson calls time. Just as Sanchez was coming set.
Yeah, coach having a quick powwow with Connor. I'm sure it's somewhere along the lines of be confident up there, swing a confident bat, commit to that pitch, and drive it. He's very capable of doing so. We've seen it on many occasions earlier this year.
Sanchez comes set. The 2-2 pitch. This is hit out to right. Francisco Delgadillo will make the catch. That will score Oscar Salazar on the sacrifice.
And a great piece of hitting.
Sacrifice to right for out number 1, but that will be an RBI for Connor Thompson.
Yeah, an RBI, just enough barrel on that to send it deep enough to right. Oscar had no problem at all, able to score without even a throw. I mean, a throw in, but it was cut by pitcher, and no attempt there to make the tag or make the throw at home plate.
Joanne listening in, letting us know it's frozen too. Yes, we will get that taken care of at the bottom of the inning. That pitch misses outside for ball 1. One and 0 the count. Xander going to be a shallow fly ball, and he's out.
He tried everything he could to avoid the tag, which he was able to do. I saw actually a YouTube post or a post earlier in the year where the runner actually stopped, avoided the tag at home, and was trying to run around the catcher. Catcher said, "You know what? I'm just going to sit on home plate." So he didn't give him any opportunity at all to tag it. Umpire called him out, and the catcher or the runner proceeded to tap the hat of the catcher as a good job.
So the Raiders get 3 runs on 2 hits. They leave none. And after 1 complete, it is 3-0 Rouse. We want to thank you for listening and watching Rouse Raider Baseball here on SHN Sports. We'll be back in just a moment. And we're back. Finally. Software not being really cooperative. Andrew Sanchez at the plate. He is now in a 1-1 count. The Lehman Lobos went 3 up, 3 down in their half of the second. Gavin Silva struck out the first 2 batters, and then Kyle Kaufman lined back to the pitcher and was thrown out at first. That pitch misses for ball 2. 2-1, the count to Andrew Sanchez.
He had a great job of pitching in that last inning from Silva, working both off-speed breaking pitches as well as the fastball, and all was working well for him. And he just called something an immediate ball call. Anybody pick up on that? Was it a balk and they gave him a ball 3 call?
Yeah. 3-1, the count to Sanchez with Xander Forcell on deck. Xander wearing a new number tonight.
Yeah, we were just making mention of that.
This is hit back up the middle. This will be played by Cruz. The throw to first will be in time.
Great play.
And that will go 6-3 on the putout of Sanchez.
He covered
for out number 1.
A lot of ground on that play and made it look effortless with a great hard throw from Andrew Cruz over the good part of the diamond as he caught that right at the grass dirt line beyond second base.
So apparently the software, our streaming software, I actually reinstalled it last Friday after the game because it kept freezing up so badly, and didn't have any problems with it on Saturday. And then today it decided to do an update and then froze during the update. And a check swing, and he said he went around for strike 1.
And that was probably the update we were attempting to run prior to the start of the game today. Is that correct?
And so I shut it down and restarted the computer after it froze up, and I assumed that that pitch on the outside corner for strike 2, I assumed that it completed the update. It just froze on the screen, and so it's unfortunate. Unfortunately, we get at the mercy of software sometimes. Our camera, everything's functional but that. So that pitch high and outside for ball 1. So our humble apologies for that. But we're glad to have y'all back with us, and we'll be watching, try to keep up with this to see if this happens again. Dawson Snow, and we're praying that it doesn't.
Yes, but please keep us posted on that and let us know at home. We have them up here as well. But
that is cut on and hit into the gap of the second baseman, able to play it, Xavier Mendoza, and he will get the out at first. That will go 4-3 on the putout of Forcell.
2 very, very well played, very good defensive plays by both the shortstop and second baseman there, the middle infielders, making what otherwise would be a difficult play look routine.
Rainer Heinrich on deck. As Dawson Snow comes to the plate, he takes for a strike on the outside corner.
Does like that outside pitch, does this umpire.
Snow representing the 9th batter in the order. That pitch down the middle for a strike. The one that tailed outside, then cut back across the plate, and just a natural fastball from him, not an intentional curveball or slider.
Yeah, that little almost sidearm delivery from a lefty.
Tails in to the batter. This is lifted high into left, and Garcia will make the catch, and that will do it for the Raiders. They go in order in the second. After 2 complete, it's 3-0 Rouse. Due up for the Lobos in the third. Xavier Mendoza, Nico Garcia, and Francisco Delgadillo.
Yeah, and going 3 up, 3 down in the first 2 innings, and doing it both with good defense as well as good pitching. So, again, we'll love to see them continue this, make it through the 3rd inning, and I think you'll see Gavin settle in nicely if that were to happen and have another good outing and recover from the iffy outing, we'll say that at best, against Liberty Hill last week. And one thing Coach is really hopeful of is to get those bats running, and then that can cover up a lot of your shortcomings at pitching if you're having an off night, which is going to happen. It's very difficult for a guy to go out there game in, game out every week and have his best stuff. And obviously adjustments are a big part of the game, and you're always hopeful that when they don't have their good stuff or their best stuff, that they're able to make those adjustments in game, at least get something on the ground, let your defense work behind you, and build off of that.
Gavin Silva back on the mound as Xavier Mendoza makes his way to the plate. Silva will wind and deliver, and Mendoza attempts a bunt for strike 1.
Xander called him back. He recognized that ball did pop up and catch Xander on the hand a little bit, and was going to make his way out there and give him a little bit of time to recover. But Xander's like, I'm good, Blue. Come on.
0-1, a curveball. That's popped up and foul for strike 2. Kathleen, it's great to have you back in the press box with us. Been missing you, and great to have you back here. Kathleen, a fixture in this press box for the past 5 or so years, with Drew playing and being a part of that 21 state-run team. And she also taught my boys in school. The 1-2 pitch just misses outside for ball 1.
A ball 2. 2-2 count.
That catches him looking for strike 3.
Not that matters, because next pitch was a beautiful breaking pitch.
That is the 4th strikeout on the night for Gavin Silva. That will bring up Nico Garcia, the left fielder. The wind has died down, and so the flags are just falling along the mast. A check swing and a miss for a strike. 0-1 delivery. That's in the dirt for ball 1, and that'll even it up. Gosh, you gotta love baseball. That pitch way outside for ball 2. It's hard, like Moneyball. Billy Bean said, it's hard not to be romantic about baseball. The 2-1 pitch, that's outside for ball 3. You like social media, but there's so much that this one is popped up and playable, and the play will be made by Jacob Solis at short for out number 2. Francisco Delgadillo makes his way to the plate. Delgadillo, the right fielder for the Lobos. Lobos in their road grays, their Dodger gray uniforms, it looks like. All they need is some red numerals on it, on the front of the jersey. First pitch offering, that's hit back up the middle to short, and that will get away from Jacob Solis and into center field, and that will go down as an E6.
Yeah, he was trying to make the transition on the throw before the ball actually made it to him, and unfortunately, in the process of looking up, moved the glove just a hair inwards that allowed the ball to glance off. So,
and this will be the first inning that Silva will see more than 3 batters. Nate Perez will come back to the plate. He is 1 for 1 with a single, and then he got caught in the pickle for the second out of the inning. First pitch is cut on and missed for strike 1.
great job, Gavin, going right back at the next batter, not worrying about what happened behind him on the defense.
That's fouled away for strike 2. But as I was mentioning about social media, it's always a double-edged sword. It can be good and it can be bad at the same time. And, you get a lot of people that don't know a whole lot about the game that are giving their opinions. And, they essentially say baseball just isn't America's pastime anymore. And I'm like, it's like, okay, well, obviously you don't like baseball. And pitch it down and away for ball 1. Among other things. So then you get people that have professional opinions and put them out there. And throw down to second will not be in time, and Delgadillo will pick up a stolen bag. Pitch was a ball. And that will even count at 2. Deuce is wild for Perez.
Yeah, Aaron doing everything he could on that one, a little bit down, which is always a difficult one to handle, especially when you have a guy breaking for second.
The pitch, a breaking ball, just misses down and away for ball 3.
Exact same pitch that the previous one was. And
well, you know what should be coming at you right now? With a payoff pitch coming up, full count.
Yep, runner will be moving on pitch.
Forcell gives the sign. Silva taking a long look in. I'm surprised that Perez has not called time. And the pitch, a breaking ball. This was hit back up the middle. Rainer Heinrich will play it to throw to first in time, and that will do it. 4-3 on the putout of Perez to end the inning. Lehman gets no runs on no hits. They leave 1, and on to the bottom we go. It's 3-0 Rouse. Due up in the third for the Raiders. Rainer Heinrich, Jacob Solis, and Oscar Salazar. Back to the top of the order we go.
Yeah, and interesting enough, back to the top as they were also back to the top. So even though we were able to plate 3 runs, and they finished with the inning or third inning with their leadoff, and we're going to start our third inning with our leadoff. So pitchers both doing really good job. Just taking advantage of a misplayed bunt and a couple of hits by the Raiders to bring in, and again, the sac fly, which was great job. 2 sac flies, unfortunately, one not allowing for the runner to come in, so in Landon Miller. But really only 2 hits for the Raiders versus 1 hit for the Lobos. Both pitchers being very effective up to this point. Silva having 39 pitches through 3 innings, 24 for strikes. And on the opposite side, Sanchez, 38 pitches, 26 were strikes. So, but again, one more, still a third inning to go for Sanchez. So
right. So what really kind of hurt Sanchez was the leadoff walk and then a hit by pitch to get 2 on, right? And so both of those runs came in to score.
On the double by Landon Miller, one of their 2 hits.
Oscar Salazar came in and got a single to load the bases. And then Landon Miller with the 2-run RBI. Sanchez back on to pitch the Raider half of the third. And Heinrich will take for ball 1. Heinrich 0 for 0. He drew a walk his first time up. Jacob Solis on deck. That pitch misses high for ball 2. Sanchez comes set to 2-0. That gets the outside corner for strike 1. Probably a little generous.
That was closer than some of the other ones that he's called a strike already. So I'm not.
Heinrich will lift this one high to left. Garcia will come into foul territory and make the catch, and that will do it for Rainer Heinrich.
And just getting a little too much lift on that one as he actually barreled it up very well, but
was out ahead of it a little bit, so he turned on it and hit it foul, but it was still catchable. So whether it was in fair or foul, that would have been an out. It hung high enough or long enough to allow Garcia to get there. Jacob Solis will stand in, and he will take for a strike.
Yeah, definitely a bit chilly right now. I think I'm going to have to put that hoodie on that I brought.
Well, probably if we shut that door, it'll stop some of that wind flowing through here. I pitch down the middle for strike 2.
There goes the Ducks. Yeah, just flew right over the top of the press box here. Did you see him, Don? Oh.
Don's got his shotgun sitting behind him. He's going to have some duck dinner. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and Solis goes down on 3 straight pitches. That'll bring up Oscar Salazar. Salazar 1 for 1. He singled back in the first. Landon Miller on deck.
Oscar continuing to swing a hot bat as he did very well on Friday night, following it up to Saturday.
High and outside for ball 1. One and 0 the count. Miller will hit this one down the first baseline, and the lob over to Sanchez from Cienega will get the out. That will go 3-1 on the putout, and the Raiders go again in order in the third. And on to the fourth we go. Raiders leading this one 3-0. They get no runs, obviously, with 3 up, 3 down. No hits.
Yeah, and Gavin Silva coming back out for the 4th inning here and did make it through that 3rd inning unscathed.
Due up for the Lobos in the fourth, Andrew Cruz, Peter Cienega, and Aiden Sanchez. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and spending your evening listening to the dulcet tones of Jonathan Kaspar and myself.
Tones nonetheless over here, so.
Give us a shout out and let us know who your favorite player is and who you're rooting for, and we'll give it on the broadcast. We'll mention it, and if you're a Lehman fan, give us a shout out for your favorite player and a shout out for your team. We'll mention it as well.
Well, must be having some technical difficulties of their own as they just grabbed the earpiece box, control box from Xander Forcell, which is used now for a coach to be able to call in pitches. And they did just remove that from the back of his chest plate.
Andrew Cruz will come to the plate. Peter Cienega on deck. First pitch offering gets the outside corner for strike one.
And Don pointed out that evidently on the last throwdown, the earpiece fell out.
The 0-1, that's outside for ball one.
Neat little addition that they've given this year, UIL, allowing the catcher to have that earpiece.
This will be hit into right field for a base hit, and an awesome attempt by Rainer Heinrich to cut it off. It would have been a great play seeing him do it, but Cruz was down the line so quickly he would have beat it out, so he will get a leadoff single to start this inning.
Yeah, covering a lot of ground right there by Heinrich and stretching those legs a little bit. I'm sure he doesn't mind that at all.
Peter Cienega will make his way to the plate. He's 0 for 1. He flew out to center his last time out to end the first. A swing and a miss for a strike.
Yeah, big cut there from Cienega. For coming up empty.
Silva from the stretch. Cruz gets his lead and will go back. That pitch misses inside for ball one.
And of course, Cienega just freezing there in hopes that he was going to possibly get a little hit by pitch action there, but it didn't quite break that much.
This one is lifted high and into foul territory, and unfortunately, Snow can't get to it. Jacob Kazi checking in. Go Daddy, Coach Kazi from Lehman. Love Halley and Cannon.
Very nice, very nice. I'm sure if he was able to see this there in the dugout, he would be most appreciative of the
I'm sure he would.
Shout out from the kids.
Thank you for tuning in and watching your Lehman Lobos here at Raider Field. 1-2 the count to Cienega. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball on the outside corner catches him looking for strike three.
Yeah, that was definitely another one of those on the outer half, and a lot of late break from the arm of Kevin Silva that has been very, very effective this evening.
That will bring up Aiden Sanchez. Sanchez struck out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Throw over to first will not be in time as Cruz gets back in safely. Trey Allen on deck.
Yep.
That pitch misses for ball one.
As I was watching Trey Allen just a moment from the on deck circle, having a discussion with somebody there in the stands.
The 1-0. I think that was probably a generous call right there. It was a nice curveball, but it was a bit outside, but he gets the call.
Yeah, but he is consistently giving that outer half on both lefty and righty batters. It's great to see.
Down the middle for strike 2, and Sanchez behind in the count 1-2. He does, like you said, he does like that outside pitch, and he's working it both for lefty and righty batters. A lot of times it'll favor more the left-handed batter than it will the right-handed batter. Throw to first will not be in time. Had that throw over been much lower, he would have been out. But Gavin with a great pickoff move over to first.
Yeah, and a very abrupt snap down from Oscar Salazar, just letting the runner know, hey, I'm right here.
Silva from the stretch. This pitch is hit up the middle. That's off of the glove of Rainer Heinrich. Actually, I think it hit his body and carried away from him. Yeah, that'll be a base hit.
He dove trying to get to that, and I think actually as the ball came down and hit the dirt, it deflected back towards him, and where his glove would have been there, unfortunately, it did catch him closer to the chest and caromed away, but no harm, no foul there, as the runner was able to.
Now, the way that Solis was playing, it wasn't like anybody was going to get any extra bases because he was right there for the carom.
Exactly. Shallow outfield.
Shallow outfield. 2 on with 1 out for Trey Allen. A swing and a miss for strike 1 on a pitch down and away.
And this will now be the second time we've had a Lobo runner make it to second base in back-to-back innings.
Breaking ball cut on and missed for strike 2. And the thing that I noticed about Allen, he plays a little deeper out away from the plate in the box.
Well, he ends up there, and that's, I think, what they were talking about. Stay in there. You heard somebody from the stands tell him that in his first plate appearance.
0-2 the count.
It's almost
Silva will step off and reset, and he'll cruise back to second.
I was going to say, it's almost as if Trey Allen is pulling off as he's trying to make the swing. And
swing and a miss, a drop third strike, and first base was occupied, and they will advance on the strike. And so runners at second, third for the first time tonight. The Lobos have a runner at third. And that's with 2 outs on the strikeout for Kyle Kaufman. Kaufman lined back to the pitcher his first time up. He's 0 for 1.
And this is where having a really good catcher, back there behind the plate is so key in situations here. Gavin is a breaking ball pitcher, not exclusively, but
that pitch just a little bit up out of the zone for ball 1.
But having somebody back there that can handle that as well as Xander Forcell does is always a great thing to have. Also for the pitcher, he's not going to be shy of throwing that breaking pitch knowing that he may spike a few.
The 1-0, that'll get to the backstop. Unfortunately, it bounces back straight to Xander Forcell, and that will hold the runner at third. And that'll put Kaufman in a 2-0 count.
Yeah, just whiffed on that one. Obviously, he set up well on the outer half of the plate looking for a ball outside. And that ball actually was more towards the inside. Unfortunately, Xander not ready for that as he did not even get a glove on that ball, which allowed it to carry him off the backstop and bounce right back to him. Would have been nice to see if the runner would have actually tried to advance on that, and he'd have been waiting there with a glove and a ball to make an easy out, but he was actually paying attention. A runner paying attention. What's up with that?
Xavier Mendoza on deck for the Lobos. Forcell gives the sign. Silva takes a long look in. He'll throw back to second. And the throw not in time and Heinrich threw the ball on the ground. Fortunately, Cruz did not take off.
Well, yeah, he thought for sure he had that out,
but
and
fortunately, Silva had the presence of mind to
pick that up. Yeah,
pick that ball up and be ready to throw home in the event that he went. But almost had Sanchez at second base. That pitch outside for ball 3.
Very, very close pitch there on that. Gavin was really hoping to get that pitch called.
There is activity in the Raider bullpen. I see a lefty getting loose.
So that'd be Carson Henderson
or Holbrook.
Dalton Holbrook.
That pitch in for a strike. "3-1, that misses high and inside for ball 4, and Silva issues his first walk of the night, and that will load him for the Lobos. And Xavier Mendoza 0 for 1. He struck out looking his first time up.
And that allows for an any bag situation for the Raiders to get that third out.
First pitch. This is cut on in shallow right field, and that'll be played by Rainer Heinrich. And that will end the Lobo threat in the 4th. That'll go F4 on the putout, or on the fly out. The Lobos get no runs on 2 hits. They leave 3 stranded.
Yeah, no harm, no foul for the defense and for the Raiders.
And after 3.5, it's 3-0 Rouse. On to the bottom we go. Due up for your Raiders in the 4th. Landon Miller, Connor Thompson, and Nathan Miller.
Landon Miller having a great approach and a great at bat his first time through the lineup, and looking to see if he can, or first time to bat, and seeing if he can build off of that. Obviously nobody on. We'd like to see him get on the base path and see if we can have another inning here. Big inning, 3 runs is great. I don't know that I would call that a big inning yet, and having a big inning would be nice here for the Raiders. Got that beautiful glowing press box out there in left center. And I know that Kathleen is loving having the new box over here. You can actually reset things, and operates like it's supposed to.
I like the net. The netting is just so much better than that chain link that we had. And we had netting down below, but chain link over the top. Right now we've got it all the way up, so it makes it much nicer. And we're in the press box, so the netting doesn't play as big a factor on the camera shot as the chain link did. So we've got a halo out here. So things improving now. If we can ever just get a covered batting cage. We've been striving for that for years, and for whatever reason, we have not been able to do that, whether it's been just the district or the cost.
Tell you what, we could put a crew together. I know of where there is a covered batting cage not that far from us, down a little piece down 29, Highway 29 out there. It's just sitting out there in the field. I don't know if anybody's using it or not.
Breaking ball. Seems like, I think he called that a bit outside to Landon Miller as he stands in.
I bet we could get a group together and a few trucks and go out there and go pick that up.
Aiden Sanchez on the mound for the Lobos. The 1-0 pitch. That's high and outside for ball 2. Connor Thompson on deck. Miller is 1 for 1. He had a 2 RBI double back in the first. And he's in a 2-0 count. Looks like Dalton Holbrook is getting loose. I believe that is correct, number 3.
Yes, because
fouled off for strike 1.
Henderson's 13. So,
but with people switching numbers,
no, it's just that Zan man, just decided to change things up a little bit.
Went from 14 to 23.
Yeah, I think it's because he was a little messy.
Mm-hmm.
Coach said, "You're not allowed on the field like that."
Yeah, maybe that's what happened this time, too. Who knows? 2-1 the count to Miller. And the pitch. This is hit foul down the third baseline. What a play.
Coach Koss.
It wasn't Coach Koss. That was Coach Robinson. Coach Robinson with his dugout fielding percentage. 2-2 the count to Landon Miller. The 2-2 pitch. This is hit foul. And Miller will get another opportunity.
Miller battling up there.
Sanchez comes set. 2-2. This is hit into right field.
Ooh.
Shallow right, but what a snag by Delgadillo to keep it from going to the fence.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that ball caught his glove more than the other way around as he just put a stab out there and was able to corral that because, again, like you said, if it had gotten by him, Miller would still be running right now because he was very shallow, and honestly, that could have very easily been an in the park with Landon Miller's speed.
Connor Thompson will make his way to the plate after a brief meeting with Coach Crimpy. Nathan Miller on deck.
Yeah, I think just reiterating something that he told Connor his last at bat, and it was very effective with him being able to piece up a ball well enough into right field to score a run.
He had an RBI sac fly. Throw over to first, not in time, as Miller gets back safely.
Yeah, and my understanding is that we may actually see some of Landon Miller here in the near future on the mound, possibly. Maybe in some relief appearances.
The 2-2. Thompson will lay down the bunt. And throw to first will not be in time as Thompson able to leg it out. You talk about bang, bang. That call could have gone either way. But that will be a base hit for Connor Thompson.
And again,
on a sacrifice bunt down the line.
Another very well placed sacrifice bunt as he was really hard up the line on that. Again, allowing plenty of time for Landon Miller to make it to second, and Connor with good enough speed, just good enough speed to be able to beat the throw. As the pitcher, Sanchez had to cover a lot of ground just to get to that ball.
Well, Cienega stayed at first to cover. As you recall, there was another bunt that was laid down by Oscar Salazar that nobody was covering the bag, and so Oscar was able to beat it out. Sanchez will deal a bunt and a layoff for strike 1.
Yeah, and Cienega crashing hard on that one, and immediately Xavier Mendoza over at second going to cover. So I'm sure that was discussed as well with the miss of the assignments there with Oscar Salazar's bunt in the first.
Andrew Sanchez on deck. And again, Miller will show bunt. He'll lay this down the first baseline. The throw to first this time will get Miller on the sacrifice, but that will be a sacrifice bunt by Nathan Miller for out number 1. Runners at second and third for Andrew Sanchez.
Tell you what, Nathan Miller dropped the trailer on that one and was getting it up the line. Almost made it interesting. What do you say there, Don?
Don's saying, don't shade it. He needed to unhitch the wagon.
Unhitch it. That's what Don's saying. It's like, no, I think he was motoring. Maybe it was just pumping his arms harder. Is that what it was? He was pumping his arms harder. It made it look like he was going faster.
That's almost like Nolan Harris last year. It's like, God, unhitch that wagon, young man.
Aren't we still waiting for him to get to first? Sorry, Nolan, if you're listening.
Andrew Sanchez will come to the plate. He's 0 for 1. He grounded his short his first time up. And he will take for a strike.
All Nolan would say is, I didn't have to run hard. I bounced balls off the fence. I had easy singles and stand-up doubles, which he did very frequently.
Xander Forcell on deck.
Wow.
And Sanchez will step out. I will tell you this. He's wearing number 11, and he's got about the same build as Colin Correjo has. And every time I look up, I think I'm looking at Colin Correjo.
From the opposite side of the
Coco Correjo. Swing and a miss on a pitch down and away for strike 2.
Yeah, and he actually had a great hit taken away from him with an unbelievable defensive play from Andrew Cruz in the second inning.
Oh, 2 pitch. Swung on and missed for strike 3. And that young man is due. He is in an 0 for slump that is really hurting him right now. He's 0 for 8 in the last 8 appearances. That will bring up Xander Forcell. He's 0 for 1 on the night. He grounded to second his last time up. And he will take for ball 1 a pitch high and outside.
This will be the number 23, Xander Forcell.
Yes, the number 23. And it's in the scorebook as 23, or that could be a problem.
Well, it got changed by myself back to 23 because I just knew he was 14.
Mm-hmm.
So I automatically put him as 14 in your book. So
1-0 pitch. That will get the outside corner for strike 1, and that will even it up. 1-1 the count to Forcell with Dawson Snow on deck.
Now in the lineup shows him as number 14.
And that's off the handle of the bat for strike 2.
Crazy enough, we do not have a number 23, though, on the lineup card.
Well, if there was a change that was made, he probably made it to the umpire and to the opposing coach prior to game start.
Yes.
1-2 the count. Sanchez toes in. And the 1-2 pitch. And this is fouled back out of play. And the count remains 1-2.
Staying alive. In come all the foul balls. Those things are expensive, man. You want to make sure you get all those balls back. Almost $10 a pop, it seems like these days.
Sanchez comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Wow.
Low.
Just a little bit low, but it's like
looked really good.
It did look good from here. It's like, what we've always talked about. You can't, if you were to get rung up on it, it's like, okay, well, you can't let the umpire make the call. You've got to battle when you're in a 2-strike count. Yep. Deuce is wild for Forcell on a pitch that was in the dirt for ball 3, and he's worked it back full.
Clawed his way back in, fouling off the good pitches, recognizing the not so good pitches and being correct.
Perez gives the sign. And the pitch, this is hammered down the third baseline, foul. Played well by Kaufman, but it was in foul territory.
Yeah, I think Xander's been sweet talking that a little bit, and he's giving him some of those pitches, that are borderline. He's like, oh, you didn't swing. I think that was a ball as well.
Giving him some goo-goo eyes. Payoff pitch. That's outside, and that will go to the backstop. The throw home will not be in time, and Porcel will draw the walk, and Miller will score on the wild pitch.
Yeah, now on the corners, and Xander broke hard, hoping to maybe try to catch the pitcher sleeping.
Runners on the corners for the Raiders. And we do have a courtesy runner, Diego
Gayton
will courtesy run. He will be the courtesy running specialist for the catcher tonight.
I'm impressed, Michael. You have his number and name down already.
I'm working on it, brother. I'm working on it.
We have so many new ones.
Ooh. Snow will show bunt and lay off for ball one.
A lot of new faces, a lot of new names, and new guys in old numbers. That we gotta learn who they are. And
so that's with high school baseball. You got a new class that really comes up every year. So you got the class that graduates that you know really well, and then the new guys coming in that you have to get to know. Throw down to second will go into the outfield. And Diego Gayton will pick up a stolen base while Connor Thompson will come around and score.
That was,
that was a ball.
I would have said ball.
Yep, 2-ball count to Snow. No, he says 1-1. I guess it was a strike.
Interestingly enough.
Well, you follow the ball, and so you don't necessarily see the call, right?
Yeah, Diego actually slid and stopped short, anticipating if he was going to get tagged.
Hey, that's a Frank Costanza move. The 1-1, that's high.
To try to allow run to pass before the tag went down, allowing the run to count.
For ball 2.
And he was able to be lucky enough that the ball got away, and it goes down as a steal for him.
Looks like there's some activity going in the Lobo bullpen. Gayton extends his lead. That pitch outside. What happened?
They called a strike. That outside pitch was not outside.
Well, I totally whiffed on that one.
Well, I don't think you're the only one, because I'm hearing, unfortunately, I didn't get to see it, but I'm hearing a whole lot from the folks in the stands that are wanting to know the same thing. Like, hey, that wasn't even close.
Yeah, I thought we were in a 1-2 count. I mean, a 2-1 count, and I guess we were in a 2-2 count, and I missed the strike somewhere. I'm like, wait, what?
I was able to see the number of the Lobo warming up. It's number 12, Darren Roberson, or Roberson.
The Raiders will get 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 1, and after 4 complete, it's 5-0 Rouse. On to the 5th we go. Due up for the Lobos in the 5th. Nico Garcia, Francisco Delgadillo, and Nate Perez. That'll be your 8, 9, and 1 hitters.
Back to the top.
Gavin Silva back out on the mound to get the 5th started. This game moved really quickly through the first 3 innings, and would hit the 4th, and it just seems like it's starting to slow down.
A few more base runners, right? Mm-hmm. A walk, a hit, few guys being able to get on for the Lobos and
already said do up. But one thing I did want to say, the Lobos left them loaded in the last inning.
Yes, sir. Yes, they did. And
Nico Garcia is 0 for 1. He is popped up to short his first time up.
And Gavin doing a really good job of staying composed with that bases loaded situation and getting out of the inning.
That pitch low for ball 1. And he popped up to short. He was in a 3-1 count when he popped up. Low pitch. He'll show bunt and hit this one foul for strike 1. So the Raiders got a little small ball going in the fourth, and now Garcia showing an attempt to play a little small ball
and
as well.
It was a late bunt. It was a late attempt, too, which was great.
Pitch misses for a ball.
Try to catch the third baseman sleeping over there. Nathan crashed really well, and obviously the ball got away and foul.
The 2-1. This one is a bunt laid down fair. It'll be played by Xander Forcell. A bang play will get him at first. What a rocket launch out of the hand of Xander Forcell. He picks it up, turns, and throws. He had his back to first, and he had to turn around to make that throw. And it was on a frozen rope.
And honestly, he was the best one. So it was a great job of Nathan Miller and Gavin, who all converged, letting him make that great arm as well as the best position to make a good throw.
Francisco Delgadillo will stand in, and he'll take for a ball. Nate Perez on deck for the Lobos.
But again, a very well-placed bunt. Just
pitched down and away for ball 2.
Great bunt, but a better throw.
Silva steps off, and he'll toe back in. The 2-0 pitch. This is fouled back for a strike. Again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching Rouse Raider Baseball here on SHN Sports. District 25-5A action, Week 3. That pitch gets the outside corner for strike 2, and Delgadillo in a 2-2 count. Be with us on Thursday night, as we will be down in Kyle. Had Delgadillo caught looking for strike 3. That is out number 2. If you remember from last year, we had that significant rain delay.
Oh, don't.
Or not rain, but more lightning, right? There was rain, but more
rain
of a
all
lightning.
the way down. Yeah, rain all the way down there and lightning. And, multiple delays.
That pitch gets the outside corner for strike 1.
They were nice enough to allow us to bring in the canopy.
Yeah, our canopy. Yeah, that was the one. Swing and a miss
in the
for
first
strike 2.
Yeah, lead off.
Perez 1 for 2. He grounded to second his last time up. He's in an 0-2 count now. That pitch will sail to the backstop off the top of Forcell's glove for ball 1. And then he got a single back in the first and then got picked off when he was caught in no man's land and went 1-3-6-1 on the put out as Silva ran him down to tag him out.
And we now have our Deuces Wild.
And Deuces Wild.
Beach to it.
You did. And now it's full count Wild.
Yeah.
He's got a full house going right now.
Tell you what, doing a good job of getting back in this at bat here.
Pitch down and away for ball 4. And Silva will issue the free pass. That's only his second walk of the night. which, if you remember last Tuesday night when he was struggling in Liberty Hill in that third inning, he gave up 4 walks in that inning.
And walked 2 batters in.
Yes. And that's the one thing about it. You cannot defend against walks. We do have a courtesy runner for Perez this time, number 7, if you can glean that information for us.
I will work on that. Number 7 is
Andrew Cruz at the plate.
Cable Matthews.
Cruz is 1 for 2.
Yeah, Cable Matthews, number 7 for the Lobos.
One 0 pitch. Throw down to second is in time. And that will go 2-6 on the putout of Perez's courtesy runner. What was his name again? Number 7.
Cable Matthews.
Cable Matthews picked off to end the Lobo 5th. And they will get no runs on a walk, and they don't leave anybody on. Andrew Cruz was at the plate in a 1-0 count at the time, and so he'll be back up. To start the 6th, since he was at the plate when he was picked off. Due up for your Raiders, back to the top of the order, Heinrich, Solis, and Salazar. Sanchez back out on the bump to pitch the 5th. Still activity going in the Lobo bullpen. Number 12, and I believe you mentioned his name a while ago.
Number 12 is going to be Darren Roberson. Or could be Robertson. Roberson. Roberson.
Yeah, it could be. It's kind of one of those that can go either way. Usually, if it has a T, it's Robertson. And if it doesn't have a T, it's Roberson that you normally see, but not always the case. Rainer Heinrich will stand in. He is 0 for 1. He has walked and flown out to left in the foul territory, and he will take for ball 1. Rainer Heinrich, mom and dad here in the stand. Steve Heinrich played for the Texas Longhorns. If I remember correctly, he was on that World Series team.
With Brooks.
Yeah.
Kishnick.
Wow, that was a generous call. That pitch gets the strike on the outside corner for strike 1. That'll even it up 1-1. Jacob Solis on deck. Sanchez deals. That's just outside. And normally that's where he likes
the... That was the same pitch he just called a strike, so deciding differently that time. He's entitled to that. So
the 2-1 pitch, that bounces away from Perez for ball 3. Jacob Solis helping out his on-deck fielding percentage. He's perfect on the 9th with 3 chances. 3 for 3.
Nice. Needs to convert that to the bat.
Sanchez comes set. The 3-1 delivery. That's inside for ball 4. And Rainer draws a walk for the second time tonight.
See if he gets the green light here to test the arm of Nate Perez. One we have not had the opportunity yet to see that.
And it's only the third walk issued by Sanchez tonight. And Coach Robinson is going to make his way out to the mound. And
this is more of a pep talk powwow discussion there versus retiring him for the night. Umpire taking the opportunity to clean that plate off, give him a little bit more time to talk.
And everybody will make their way back. And Jacob Solis will stand in. Oscar Salazar on deck. 1 on with nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. With the Raiders leading this one 5-0. Sanchez will deal outside for ball 1. Perez does a good job of keeping that from going to the backstop as he had to come out of his crouch to get to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Aiden Sanchez, that one got away from him a little bit as he immediately went to licking those fingers, trying to get a little bit more grip as that got away from him a little bit.
That pitch inside almost gets him. For ball 2.
Yeah, and he was almost hit by pitches last at bat as well. So ball's making it deep in the pocket there.
10-0 the count. And the pitch. Heinrich on his way down to second, and Perez unfortunately lost the handle on the ball, and so there was no throwdown, and so that will be a stolen base for Rainer Heinrich.
Still not getting a chance to see the arm of Perez, as I mentioned earlier. Was curious whether Rainer would get the green light to do so, and he did.
Well, even if Perez would have been able to get it down there, he wouldn't have been in time. Heinrich had such a great jump. Breaking ball in for a strike. And that will take the count to 3-1. So it's fortunate for Solis, and he'll get the walk, that ball in there for ball 4. And Sanchez has given up back-to-back walks. Salazar will come to the plate. And there will most likely, we will see Mr. Roberson make his way out to the mound here in just a moment.
Yeah, immediately. And we'll get to see a new pitcher here, a couple of warm-up pitches, and we'll do a real quick check-in here on the stats for Mr. Aiden Sanchez. He does exit.
Goes 4 innings.
The game. Going 4 innings, allowing 4 hits, 5 runs, 4 of those being earned, 3 strikeouts, and as you just mentioned, back-to-back walks, bringing the walk total to 4. So he did throw 81 pitches, 51 for strikes. And now we make way for Mr. Roberson.
Yes.
It is.
What's his name?
It is Darren
Okay.
Roberson, number 12.
Oh, Darren Robertson.
Roberson or Robertson?
Okay. And we did get a quick little correction there. Robertson. We obviously always like to make sure we are as accurate as possible with pronunciation of not just last names but first names, because we've had a lot of crazy first names as well that either are just almost impossible.
Start of the season. End up getting an illegible scrawl from Coach Grimby's lineup.
We're good enough to just get the number.
Kaspar on there, but we were calling him some other because I was having to use my phone as the actual hotspot at the time. People were chatting in, looking at us, what the names were, and so I unfortunately that's the drawback too. Like we mentioned earlier in the broadcast that each year you get a new set of young men, and so you got to learn their name. Since my kids are all graduated and moved on and not in the program anymore, you miss out. You miss out on knowing a bunch of these kiddos because you don't see them on a regular basis.
Very much so. And we get there and you get to visit with them a little bit before games sometimes. And
a different look as Darren Robertson comes in to relieve Aiden Sanchez, going from a lefty to a righty. So Raiders will have to make the adjustment. That pitch coming out of a 3/4 arm slot for ball one. Like a slider that he was going with on that pitch.
Yeah, just first pitch out offering from Robertson.
Robertson comes set. He'll deliver, and Salazar will send this one deep to center. And Heinrich will take off on the catch. And Solis will maneuver down. That'll be a sac fly for Oscar Salazar.
Good heads up running there from Solis, recognizing that ball getting away on the toss in from Trey Allen.
Trey Allen actually took time to actually get the ball in as he looked like he double clutched, and then he threw the ball in, and that allowed Jacob Solis to move down to second.
Well, Rayner, taking advantage of his speed, he immediately recognized that ball was going to be deep enough for him to be able to tag up, and he bolted hard for third, and Trey was hoping to maybe get a throw and realized, there's no way I'm going to get him, and that's what drew that double clutch, and again, lob in and just not handled.
Call time.
And
they're just going to walk him.
Okay.
And so that'll load the bases with the intentional walk. Because he was 2 for 2 with a double and a single.
Yes, and both hit extremely hard as well, down the third base line, and then the hit to right field that, again, was almost mishandled.
And that'll bring up Connor Thompson. Connor Thompson has sac flied to right and singled.
Yeah, no outs. Another sac would go a long way here to padding this lead.
Bases loaded with Raiders for Connor Thompson. Nathan Miller on deck. The first pitch, that's high and inside for ball one. Robertson takes a long look in. He comes set. The 1-0. The breaking ball that backs Thompson out of the box for strike one. A handful of aces for Mr. Thompson. That pitch outside for ball two. Two and one to count. The 2-1 pitch That's high and inside for ball 2 or ball 3.
Again,
no place to put him.
No, not at all. And Darren having a hard time keeping it down in the zone, as each one of those, with the exception of that great breaking pitch, have all been high.
Fastball cut on and missed for strike 2, and the count goes full.
And that was definitely one of those that could have gone either way, an inside pitch, but could have just as easily been called a strike or a ball, from this angle at least.
The payoff pitch, that's high for ball 4. And that is the third walk issued by the Lobos in this inning, and there is just no defense for walks. Well, I take that back. That makes it 4 walks in this inning because of the intentional walk to Landon Miller.
And here's Nathan Miller, who absolutely loves to pull the ball, and so far from what we've seen from Robertson is an inside pitch. It seems to be his most effective, so.
The first pitch offering inside for ball 1, a belt-high fastball.
Yeah, so we'll see if Nathan's able to turn on one here and send something down the third base line and plate a few more runs.
Miller is 0 for 1 with a sac bunt and a fly out to left. That curveball in for a strike. That will leave it up at 1. Andrew Sanchez on deck. I know if I keep looking over there, I'm going to make the mistake of saying Correjo on deck. That pitch misses for ball 2.
I may have to get in his ear and tell him to start warming up lefty.
Coco Correjo.
Really make it happen.
Coco Correjo playing his college ball at UTSA. The 2-1 pitch. This is hammered out to left center. Trey Allen able to make the catch. And the throw will not be in time as Solis will score on the sacrifice.
Great job by Trey Allen, though, covering again a lot of ground and was able to just catch that in the very tip of the glove without having to lay out, which allowed him to get up, but unfortunately, just regardless, it was going to allow at least one run, but he was able to prevent that from being a lot more.
I mean, that's exactly what he wanted to be.
We show 2 outs on the board. I only show 1 in the book. Who else was out? This is it 2? Who did I miss as an out? Oh, wait. Oscar Salazar. Yep. All right. My bad. I just didn't write the out. I had SF8, so yeah. Okay. We're good. We're good. Foul tip for Sanchez, and he's in an 0-1 count, looking to break out of a slump. Swing and a miss for strike 2.
And I have 7 runs, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yes, 2 this inning.
That will go to the backstop, and he just almost balked, but he came home with it as Landon Miller scampered down to third.
Well, on the last pitch, Landon was halfway down and decided not to run. He went back to second, and he could have literally stopped at halfway and walked to third and made it as the Darren Robertson's not trying to keep these guys on.
Runners on the corners, and Sanchez with deuces wild, a 2-2 count. Xander Forcell on deck.
And Nate Perez, the catcher, coming up to make the runners on the corner signs to bring in his corner infielders.
That pitch in for a strike and catches Sanchez looking to end the inning, but the Raiders will pick up 2 more runs on no hits. And they leave 2. On to the 5th we go. I mean the 6th. The Raiders leading this one 7-0 over the Lehman Lobos. On to the 6th we go. Due up for Lehman in the 6th will be Andrew Cruz, Peter Cienega, and Aiden Sanchez. As Sanchez will now fall into the designated hitter role.
Yes, and he was labeled as such prior to the start of the game, as he will be the pitcher and the designated hitter when it comes around to that time frame.
Right, so they want to keep him in the lineup.
And I had not actually, because he was one and the same.
Right.
So I will make our
corrections on the defensive charts.
Defensive chart accurate.
Gavin Silva back out on the mound to pitch the 6th. For the Raiders, I don't see any other changes.
Still Dawson Snow,
Thompson and Miller and the outfield, and Miller, Solis, Heinrich, and Salazar. And of course, at number 23, Xander Forcell.
Or is it 14?
Well,
or is it 23?
Well, tonight he's 23.
If he was, 23. I was going to say, if he was originally 23, he's supposed to be as his secondary number 45. Michael Jordan.
Andrew Cruz will come to the plate. He was at the plate when the runner was thrown out at second base. That pitch misses outside for a ball. 1-0 the count. And he will take for ball 2 on a pitch low. Peter Cienega on deck. 2-0 delivery, a curveball that was really generous. It was on the line in the right-hand batter's box. 2-1 the count. Fastball inside, and that was definitely more of a strike.
Yeah, and again, Gavin
2-2.
Working very, very fast here as he is just pumping these pitches in at a quick.
The 2-2, this is got on and hit foul and goes. It was fair and rolled foul down the third baseline.
A lot of spin on that one.
And Cruz will make his way back to the plate. Again, we want to thank you for tuning in and watching Rouse Raider Baseball on SHN Sports. I'm Michael Francis alongside Jonathan Kaspar. If you're enjoying the broadcast, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to follow Rouse Raider Baseball, hit subscribe to be notified of each of our broadcasts when we go live. That pitch is fouled away. Give us a shout out for your favorite player and your favorite team. You're watching the broadcast.
Andrew Cruz doing a really good job of staying alive.
That pitch down and in for ball 3, and Cruz has worked it full.
Yeah, he's fouled off the last couple of really good pitches from Gavin Silva, who's working both inside and out.
The payoff pitch, cut on and missed for strike 3, and that will do it for Andrew Cruz.
And once again, Gavin Silva going to that beautiful breaking pitch, but not quite starting it out as wide as he has, that has given him that backdoor strike. But that one actually a little up in the zone and draws the whiff.
That's the 8th punch out of the night for Silva. That'll bring up Peter Cienega. Cienega is 0 for 2. He has flown out to center and struck out looking. That pitch misses for ball 1.
A little high, I would imagine.
Aiden Sanchez on deck. The 1-0 delivery. Wow, he does like him outside.
Hey, he's consistent with it.
Was it a makeup call?
I
mean, that was in the right-hand batter's box.
And he did it.
Goes right back. But that one was legitimately a strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just live out there.
1-2 the count to Cienega. A swing and a miss for strike 3, and that will do it for Cienega.
It was interesting actually watching the shift occur there on the defensive side for the Raiders as Nathan Miller actually moved in between the 5th and 6th, where, 5-6 hole as it normally would be. He was there full shift.
Sanchez is 1 for 2. He has struck out and singled. That is cut on and missed for strike 1, and he reached on that play by Rainer Heinrich where it caromed off his chest as he was diving.
Yeah, it was, again, a great hit.
Solis was there to keep runners from advancing. A swing and a miss for strike 2, and 1-2 count.
Aiden just couldn't slow his bat down nearly enough to try to. He recognized that it was coming in slower, but he still couldn't get a piece of it.
The 1-2 swung on and missed, and Silva punches out the side in order. 1, 2, 3 go the Lobos in the 6th. And that makes 10 strikeouts for Silva on the night.
Very nice. Very nice to see him find what he had, from week 1 and the end of the tournament season for the LISD tournament and forget what happened in last week's outing and come back to what we've seen from him and expect from him. And, we'll hopefully see if Oscar Salazar, who more than likely will be the Thursday night starter, if he's able to follow suit and have another good outing.
Darren Robertson back out on the mound to pitch the 7th, or the bottom of the 6th. My apologies. He will be facing Forsell, Snow, and Heinrich. That'll be your 8, 9, and 1 hitters.
There's another bat that I would love to see be a bit more lively is Xander Forsell, and he's down towards the bottom part of the lineup, in the bottom third of the lineup, and it's definitely a bat that we know has a lot of pop in it, and just waiting to come alive.
Robertson winds, and he will drop a curveball in on Forsell for strike 1. Forsell has drawn a walk, and he's grounded to second, and he will take for ball 1. That will even things up. Dawson Snow on deck. Pitch outside for ball 2. Just a bit outside.
Yeah, well, I think maybe that was high because that was not nearly as far outside as he has called several of them, but again, maybe a bit high.
That is fouled off for strike 2, and that will even it up. So our prayers go out to those who were harmed in the bridge collapse today.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Up in Baltimore, Maryland. And it was just a check swing, and he said he was able to hold it up and not go around, and that will take the count full.
Yeah, I saw the video of that this morning, and just unbelievable.
I mean, could you imagine being on that bridge? If you were in the middle of that bridge when it happened, there was no way you could get across it. That will be lined into left field, and that will be a base hit to get things started here in the 7th or 6th for the Raiders.
Well, the good news is they were able to minimize, the injuries and minimize the vehicles going across because the boat operator knew that he was having issues, and it kept shutting down on him. He was losing control of the boat. He wasn't able to steer or anything, and that's what hit the bridge and created the problems, but there were 7 guys up there and working on it.
We'll bring up Dawson Snow. Snow is 0 for 2, and he will foul this one away. It was in on the handle for strike 1.
Oh, 21.
Oh, I missed that. Rylan Payne.
Rylan Payne, number 21. Thank you, crew. That's why we're such a great team up here. 4 sets of eyes.
Nothing in 1, the count to Payne, and he will foul this one away. Diego Gayton, courtesy running for Xander Forcell. So last year, Tyler Espinosa was our courtesy running specialist. We're seeing Diego doing it quite a bit, but Diego will play third base when Oscar Salazar is in pitching, and Nathan Miller will cover first. Falls along that line. This is get back into left field, and that will be a base hit for Rylan Payne.
And he followed Xander Forcell's lead there and says, well, heck, if it worked for you, I might as well hit it in the same spot. And sure enough, the exact same result.
2 on with no outs for Rainer Heinrich. We're back to the top of the order. Jacob Solis on deck.
Nerner would love to get a hold of one here, and as that fly ball that he had earlier in the game, he could send that more out than up. And
he's 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a fly out to left in foul territory. And pitch in for a strike.
Yeah, a lot of late movement on that pitch there from Darren Roberson.
Robertson comes set. Gayton extends his lead at second. It pitched down and away for ball 1. One and one the count to Heinrich. The 1-1 pitch. That's down and away for ball 2. 2-1.
Yeah, knowing there's 7 runs up there already, Darren is not wanting to make the mistake against a very dangerous hitter here in Rainer Heinrich and leave anything out over the plate.
Robertson taking a long time on the mound. That pitch high and inside for ball 3. Robertson checks Gayton at second, and he'll come home with it. That's inside for ball 4, and
third walk.
Heinrich pulls the hat trick on walks tonight, and that will load the bases for Jacob Solis. Solis is 0 for 1. He has walked and been hit by a pitch and struck out.
And Coach Robinson making another trip to the bump. Nobody warming up in the bullpen. And just as I say that, in walks the bullpen. Lobos. He's got his jacket on, so it may be a moment before I'm going to have an opportunity to get a number for us.
Chilly. He's going to keep that jacket on while he gets loose.
Yeah, for sure. Rightfully so.
I got binoculars in my backpack. Yep.
Do you?
I do. Oh, you want them?
Goodness.
What? Are you sure? I'll get them.
Now that I know, I'm going to grab them for sure.
I always have binoculars in my backpack. I used to do play-by-play for football, so you needed them up in that press box.
Oh, heck yeah.
Go high above the field. But you can use them here, especially when you want to look in the outfield, right?
Yeah, we needed that for those bright yellow and white
Liberty Hill jerseys.
Liberty Hill jerseys.
Yeah. Had pitch high and inside for ball 1. The 1-0, that will go across the plate for a strike, and that will even it up. Oscar Salazar on deck.
Salih's now ready, having finally seen a strike.
1-1. This is popped up, foul and playable, and that's in and out of the glove of Peter Cienega.
Yeah.
And Solis will get another opportunity.
I think he was starting to see the shadows of the dugout there and sort of pulled up a little bit, and unfortunately not able to squeeze that ball and keep it in the glove.
1-2 the count to Solis. This is popped up and playable, and that will be caught by Cienega this time, and that will retire Solis for out number 1. That will go F3. I guess it went high enough that you can call that an F and not an L.
Sure.
You think?
Sure, yeah. I would say fly. Fly, not liner.
Yeah. That will bring up Oscar Salazar, and that will go to the backstop, and Gayton will score on the pass ball. Yeah. Actually, that'd be a wild pitch. That was wild pitch all the way. So,
and a ball. Get that right. Oh, what happened? There we go.
And the runners will advance, so you have runners at second and third, with Ryland Payne at third and Rainer Heinrich at second for Oscar Salazar. This is hit back up the middle. This is played by Cruz. The throw to first will be in time, but that will score Payne. And Heinrich will move down to third. That will go 6-3 on the putout of Salazar, and that will bring Landon Miller to the plate. And will they intentionally walk him again?
Tell you what, Andrew Cruz over at short has an absolute cannon for an arm, as he just had plenty of time there, and he just sat, made sure, and just unloaded on that.
If Miller can get a hit right here and Heinrich scores, then that would end the game. Ball 1 to Miller. Connor Thompson on deck. 1-0 pitch. That's high and inside for ball 2.
Yeah, almost glancing off the hands of Landon Miller as far inside as he just barely ducked back on that.
2-0 the count to Miller. 1 on with 2 outs. Two-0 pitch by Robertson upstairs for ball 3.
So they're pitching around him. They're just not saying they're pitching around him, right?
Miller is 2 for 2 with a walk.
Bye-bye.
This is a monster shot. This may be over the fence. No, it just one hops the fence, but that will score Heinrich, and that will be the ball game.
Yeah, it's the easy stand-up double. It's
10 runs.
The interview didn't go 5-4.
Well, how about that? You said that.
The game.
Kaspar.
Oh my goodness, what a prediction! I said all we needed was Leander to take care of Liberty Hill tonight, and probably not able to hear that at home. We just got an announcement from Don Miller on the stadium that Leander had just beat Liberty Hill 5-4.
Yeah, well, that's something that we couldn't do last week. We had our opportunities on Friday night. Tuesday night, Liberty Hill just took care of business and
Outpaced us,
they did.
There at the end, and we had our opportunities, and this week is a great reset week. As Gavin able to throw a complete game and do extremely well, and again just regain that form that he had the 3 starts prior to that against Liberty Hill, and really be very productive, very fast pace, and not really second guess himself or put himself in really many bad situations tonight.
So now that will put Rouse and Liberty Hill with the same district record at 3-2 as they make the loss. And so Hayes and Cedar Park could actually take the top 2 depending on how they fell out tonight.
You guys did hear the scoreboard?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we did.
announced
We heard
it.
it. Yeah, we did. Thank you, Don. So Jonathan will go over the final numbers.
Yeah, and again, just going back, Gavin Silva is your winning pitcher tonight.
Not complete game. He went 6.
6 innings.
On a run rule.
Allowing on 3 hits, no runs, 10 strikeouts on 2 walks, throwing 91 pitches and 55 for strikes. So really good, effective there. On the offensive side, we were able to amass 7 hits tonight for the Rouse Raiders, scoring your 10 runs, and had 7 walks for the Raiders tonight. So being very patient at the plate, and 4 strikeouts against them. So again, just overall top to bottom, offensively, defensively, good game. Both sides there. The only error we did have was 1 error tonight on the defensive side for Solis. Yes, sir. So, and then defensively, only a single error for the Lobos, and that was going to be from Nate Perez, obviously as a pass ball, would be an error on him. So, final 10-0.
And so be with us again. Wow, look at that moon over there. Looks red just coming over the horizon, right?
Very cool. Blood moon.
Yep. So, goodness, forgot where I was going to go with that. So be with us on Thursday night as we will be down at Kyle at Lehman High School for Game 2 of this series. The Lobos will be hosting the Raiders, and then we'll get that started and cranked up at 6:45, and I'll be sure and get out early so that I can be down there early and have our set up. So I'll probably need to throw the awning in the truck just in case.
Because I don't have it loaded like I normally do in the back of my truck. So
well, you don't have that tonneau cover over it
I do not have a tonneau yet.
But the golf clubs are in the back seat. So he has the golf clubs with him. He didn't forget those.
Always.
But at any rate, so be with us on Thursday night for Game 2. The happy final here tonight is your Rouse Raiders 10 and the Lobos nothing. And so for Jonathan Kaspar, I'm Michael Francis. Thank you for tuning in and watching Rouse Raider Baseball on SHN Sports. Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.